Hello, I'm Eddie Hayes.
And I'm still David Addison. You want to tell him?
No? Do you?
No, not really. Why don't we tell him together?
With tonight's episode, Moonlighting had planned on taking part in another exciting, innovative broadcasting experiment. What we planned on bringing you was the first 3D, that is the first fully three-dimensional television program.
I mean, the show itself turned out wonderfully. You remember Vincent Price in that House of Wax where he's hitting that ball, like paddling the ball, and the ball's zooming out over the audience like that? Well, this is better than that. And then there are certain subtle values that are enhanced by 3D.
Absolutely.
Stand up, will you, Maddie? Arch your back a little bit. Do I gotta draw you a map, folks? Oh!
Anyway, late last week, we started mailing out these special 3D glasses to everyone, but you know the post office.
You know the post office.
So tomorrow, the next day, when you get these in the mail...
Hang on to them for the rerun.
And once again, we're really sorry. Now start the show.
Start the show?
Start the show.
Hello everybody and welcome to another roller coaster ride of fun of Defending My Collection, the series of videos where I go through my Blu-ray collection and tell you everything I want to tell you, whether you like it or not. I go from A to B to C, all the way to the letter Z, and I show you off what I have in my collection, and I give you little tidbits of story time along the way. You are in the midst, near the end, of Season 2 of Defending My Collection, which centers on the 3D films. The 3D films I have in my collection, and you know, I'm kind of glad I'm doing this because, you know, I've looked around YouTube and people sometimes just do unboxings or they show pickups of the 3D movies they have. Nobody on YouTube really reviews the 3D, how good they are in the movies, or how good the 3D is. Basically what I just said a couple times. And I'm kind of glad that I'm doing this, and I hope I'm representing them the right way. Everybody's setup, television setup, is a little different, and everybody's eyes are different and sometimes don't see the right way. But I'm basically giving you what I think of each movie. I've been in contact with a few people from the Bluray.com 3D forums, linked down below, and they seem to have been enjoying and agreeing or disagreeing with some of my reviews of these movies. But anyway, nonetheless, this is my take on my 3D movies. We are up to the S's this week. I believe there's only going to be 2 more videos left to the series. 3 actually, because I do have a little extra addendum episode where I'm not going to talk about until we get there. And I think that'll be fun, especially to viewers that enjoy 3D and like 3D. And I think it could maybe start some nice conversations of what I will be talking about in that video. But we will get there when we get there. Right now we're going to talk about the S's. Those of you who have been catapulted here by YouTube's Catapult service, welcome. You may be wondering why you're watching this old guy with movies and posters and pictures behind him. Well, I just explained to you. So why are you wondering now? By now you should already realize and have moved on. If not, stick around because you're in for some fun times. Let's hope. What else do I need to say? Any of those new subscribers that have been catapulted here, welcome. I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you stay around to the end, and I hope you go back and watch some other stuff of my channel. Channel Donstar, old Roger D here. How you doing? I'm doing fine. Get with it. I'm trying. Will you just get with it? I'm doing it. All right. Yeah, I don't think we have much to say. We did the P's and the R's because we had no Q's last week, and those were a lot of fun to go through. Now we're going to do the S's, which hopefully will be in the same time bracket, like an hour or so. If I don't talk too long. I talk too much. Boy, I did use that. Boy, that was... When I started these defendings, that was last year. Wow. I got a lot of damn movies, folks. I talked about and here you only get down to here. I got the same amount up there I got down below. I got, down in the cellar. It just grows and grows, and nobody knows. My Roseberry Rose. Yeah, I'm an old fart that loves movies, and that's the important thing. I love all kind of movies. Good movies, great movies, bad movies, really bad movies. I still have yet to pick up Manos, The Hands of Fate. That came out remastered on Blu-ray. I gotta pick that up. But yeah, they are starting to come out with more and more of the 50s B movies, which I love. What was the Electronic Man? No. There's one, and I birch a lot. Birch? I'm a tree. I birch a lot during my videos. Those new viewers, I like to belch. I like to wipe my nose. I make lots of mistakes, and I keep them all in. I don't do the quick, fancy editing that takes probably hours where you're cutting out the ums and the ohs and all the mistakes. I'm just there. It's old Roger, and it's me in the raw. In the raw. Wow, I remember this movie. We're starting off. Hey, let's start. Did I cover all the bases? I think I did. Yeah, if you're new, subscribe, like, share. I usually say that all at the end. Welcome to new subscribers. Those returning, thanks for all your messages and comments on last week's video. As with all the videos I put up, I'm so glad that you guys comment and I'm able to respond. And I do try to respond as soon as I can. So I hope you appreciate that. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. It's a nice sunny day. It's really nice. It's like in the 60s. And let's get on with the show. Our first 3DS movie of the day is a sequel of sorts to the Ring series. And I imported this. I believe I did. I don't think this came out in the U.S. I could be wrong. Looking for... No, yeah, NTSC. Maybe, I don't know. Sudaku, or Sudako. It is, there's not as good as, that hand could have came out a little more, and the credits could have popped a little more in the lenticulous cover. Not too lenticulous. This is like one of the, I think maybe the 4th or 5th sequel to the Ring series, Sudoku. No, that's that game. Sudaku. I'm sorry, Asian people, correct me. Pronunciation. Yeah, I got it in 3D. And there's the back. Slipcover, not too lenticulous, same on the front and back. Don't you hate that? Don't you wish, you had a slipcover and then it was different cover art? It's one disc. It's a not so cheapo eco. Those people who know my terminology, cheapo eco is where it's actually cut out, that little circular arrow thing. When it's complete, but it's still thin on the top and the bottom, I call that not so cheapo eco. Makes you hungry for Mexican nachos now, don't you? Nacho cheapo eco. Shut up and get to the movie. Yeah, this is one of those horror movies, those J horrors, where you got hauntings by the long black-haired woman, Sudako, and creepiness, and this has quite a few pop-outs, quite a few crosstalk from what I remember. Crosstalk, that's where the image comes out so far that you start to get a blurred image. At least on my TV, I had a little issue with this, probably because it was more in the dark scenes, but there's some really great stuff. The billboard with the long hairs coming out and a lot of hands jumping out at you. A lot of jump scares in this. Don't remember much of the story, but you don't need it when you're watching. You throw in, have some popcorn and beer, and you put the glasses on and you watch the 3Dness, and it's fun. And it's in my collection. So there you go. First S of the day. Well, I haven't talked about these movies enough. Hell no. I don't think I ever brought this movie up, this series up, and I need to really stress. Gosh, I've talked my head off about these movies. I love these movies. I've grown to love them. Story-wise, when I first saw them, I was like, well, this is very young adult humor, young adult storytelling for a family film. But my God, this might have been, and I had to import these. These movies might have been the movies that I cherish most in my 3D collection. Talking about the Sammy Adventure movies. Had to import these. I imported both of these. There's one, there's two, from Yes Asia. Had to pay a little more for shipping, of course. The 3D is phenomenal. Even before I was on the 3D forums, probably when I was just starting reading those forums, 3D.com, 3D forums, or Bluray.com 3D forums. Sorry, the link's down below. Lancelot link is below. When I got this, the first one, Sammy's Adventures, The Secret Passage, I was blown away by the 3D. The opening shot with the turtles swimming underwater. And I've talked about this so many times, but excuse me for gushing. They are swimming out of the television screen, right in front of your face, and swimming around, and watching it for the, and I've seen 3D movies, and yeah, every once in a while you get something thrown at you, or you get some nice, a little bit out of the screen, maybe a bit out of the frame of the television. It's like, oh look, okay, in the background and he's in the foreground, or his shoes are right there, or something. This was the first movie that I can consider eye-popping. This, the old lobster guy, or the crab, the octopus giving all the characters a ride, and then them flying off, the underworld, under the water, the coral reef. So many great visuals, so many great set pieces in 3D in this movie, and I grown to love it, because I would put this movie in when I first got it. This first movie, I must have watched this at least once a week for wow. It's like, I need my 3D fix. I need something. I'm watching Sadako, or I'm watching something else, and it's like, yeah, it's good. I need to see Sammy. I need to see it in my face. I want that effect where I could just reach out and grab behind it and pull it and hold it, and this movie gave me that. Story-wise, yeah, it's very simple. It's very, like I said, very for very young kids. But I grown to love the characters because I've seen it so many times. I grown to love the story. It's all, let me see here. Kathy Griffin, Melanie Griffith, Tim Curry, Anthony Anderson, Stacy Keach, Jenny McCarthy do the voices. This movie was never released in the U.S. in 2D or 3D at the theaters. It was only available as an import, and I kind of heard about it, and I took a chance and bought it, and wow. The director, Ben Stassen, man, that man knows how to do a 3D presentation the right way. He knows the boundaries of your eyes, where it comes out of the screen so much, but not as much, where you start getting the crosstalk. He really understands that, and the presentation he does in this. And we'll go to the second one. This one even more. This one blows this one away, in my opinion, in 3D. Cotton candy. Joy. Just, oh my God, the eels, the little seahorse, the boss seahorse, the blowfish, the fish with the funny face, and and in this one, of course, Sammy and his friend are older now, and and they get mixed up in the storyline. They get mixed up with this millionaire who created this underwater restaurant bar, and they get captured to be put in their tank, which is around this bar for people in the bar, humans, to watch, and like a zoo, and them basically trying to get out of it. I've watched this one much more times than this. So many times I put this in. The 3D is spectacular. It's like I said, I did a What's Roger Watching, I think, on this. Go back in my past videos and I talk about it and praise it again. But they're right in your face. You're sitting there on your couch and you're watching this, and your TV's like 6 feet away. And if you're in a dark room and you're watching this, the characters are this close to your face, and you're just like, oh, I can't explain it. I cannot explain it. And the same director, Ben Stassen. If Hollywood would take note of his 3D presentation, his measurement of depth in 3D movies, I think the fandom of 3D presentation would really, really catch on. It's not pop-outs. It's not stuff thrown at you. It's stuff smoothly. Like I said, it's all underwater. So they're swimming and they're constantly moving and they're going back and they go forward. And wow. This is, this one opens sideways, doesn't it? Or top or bottom? No, it comes out the bottom. Try to see who does the voices in here. Cast. They don't have the cast. They don't have the cast listed. And of course, because it's Yes Asia, it's Snippy Lobster. They don't say, because it's all in Chinese or Japanese. There's the inner of the disc. Now, from what I was corrected, I didn't think either one of these movies were released in North America. And from what I was corrected by one of my viewers in an earlier post when I talked about this, or these movies, he did say both movies are available in North America. The first one is only 2D. It is not released in 3D, which is a shame. It's sacrilege. Sammy's Adventures 2, which is called, gosh, Around the World in 50 Years. That ain't what it's called. That's Secret Passage. I can't think of the name. Maybe I'll put it right down here. The English name of this. No, hell, fuck. I try to be nice. I don't want to swear. It is called Escape from Paradise. Sammy's Adventure 2, Escape from Paradise. This is available in North America in 3D. So if you do have a 3D presentation, if you do have a 3D setup, I should say, TV, surround sound, whatever, pick this one up at least. Like I said, both movies are great. You really don't have to follow both of them to know what's going on. You get used to the characters. But if it's anything like this mastered disc, which I got from Yes Asia, if the North American version is anything like this, you will see automatically what I mean with how 3D movies should be. And when we get to the T's, which will be next week, there's another movie, a more recent movie that Ben Stassen directed in 3D. I won't say the name right now, but those of you who know 3D probably more than likely have it in your collection. Definitely have it in your collection, because when you hear his name, you go, he knows what he's doing with 3D. I'm getting that movie sight unseen. And again, it's another fantastic presentation in 3D. These two movies, I swear, in my collection, over Pacific Rim, over Jurassic Park, which are great, Titanic, great conversions. These are my favorite 3D movies in my collection. And it's weird because they're family films. You know, and you viewers know that I love family films. I love the Pixar films and all that. If only Pixar would convert their movies in 3D the way these are done. My God, they would be so beautiful to look at and brilliant and entertaining. And I think more viewers will love the 3D presentation of those movies. You know, look at something like Avengers, or, you know, even bad conversions like R.I.P.D., which I talked about last year. That just popped in my head. Toy Story could have looked so amazing if they did it right like this. Anyway, enough with the Sammy. You know I love Sammy. If you have a 3D setup and you haven't picked up the second one, pick it up. All right, moving on. Moving right along, we got the life on the highway. Got a lenticular cover on this. It's cool. I enjoyed this movie. I knew what it was going to be. I saw the trailer and I was like, yep. And at the very end, in 3D, go back a couple of videos with that opening I had, in 3D, I was like, yep, instant buy. I don't care how bad it is. I don't care how cheesy it is. I don't care. I'm buying it in 3D because I want to see California get sucked down the San Andreas Fault in 3D. And I'm talking about San Andreas with Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, as Rescue Ranger Smith. Why am I not centered? That's weird. Yeah, I had fun with this. And again, most people, if they're smart with movies and you know movies and you love movies, you know what you need to put your brain on the side. You know instantly. You see a movie like this, you're not looking for Oscar. You know, you're looking for destruction. You're looking for great special effects, which it all does. You might be looking for some bad acting, which it all does. And some really outlandish stunts and situations, disaster situations. I had a great time with this movie. I like The Rock. I like Dwayne Johnson. He's become one of my favorite action stars. Those are the discs. Enough said. Not going to talk much about it. It's an older movie. Well, not older, but it's been out I think it came out last year. A few months old, so you probably all have seen it already. And if you've seen it in 2D, you could probably only imagine the depth, the 3D, the spectacle. There's a few pop-ups here and there, pop-outs here and there. But yeah, San Andreas, I love it. I enjoy it. It's what I look for in a movie. You know, I look for spectacle. I look for technical achievement. I look for, you know, great acting. Great, not so much. If I'm looking for a good movie, I want a good story and some decent acting in there, and maybe a few plot twists and some really beautiful, like David Fincher type shots and setups. But I love these movies too, and I'm looking for the spectacle. I'm looking for the technical achievement. I'm looking for the special effects. I'm looking how they present it to us. And when they're in 3D, it's just eye candy for me, and I'm there. Back in one of my earlier videos, I don't know, I got confused, I think, with the caves of Androzani. I was going to say that's a Doctor Who Peter Davison episode. No. His last one, I believe, before he changes. The caves of something. It's back in the seas. Go look at my first video, ABCs. And I said, oh, that's the James Cameron one, and I was wrong. No, that was Werner Herzog. And then I came across the him going down a diving bell, and I was like, oh, that's the one I was thinking of. No, I was thinking of Sanctum 3D. This is the James Cameron one. That people might think, you know, well, they're underwater and they're in caves. How good is the 3D? You know, the 3D really works in this because you are underwater and you see the depth of the cave, of they're here and they got to go way over there. And it's kind of a disaster thing. Excuse me. Our first belch. Was it the first? it's kind of a disaster one because, you know, people are trapped and earthquakes and things are falling and bubbles are bubbling and but it's all James Cameron, you know, it's his camera and his setups and double E disc set. Did he direct this? No, Alistair Grierson directed this. He pretty much just produced it. James Cameron, Universal, Relativity Media. Yeah, executive producer James Cameron. So anyway, I enjoyed it. It was good. It was one of these, again, blind buys. I bought it for James Cameron, you know, Avatar, and then although I had it before the diving one when he went deep sea. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and I had the same thoughts too. I was like, "How's it going to be? It's dark. It's underwater. Is it a documentary?" And it turned out it wasn't a documentary. It actually was a narrative story, and I went along for the ride, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was great, and I think the 3D presentation is pretty damn good in it. So, so there you go. That's just me. This is one where I was like, "Meh," you know. It was an import. I had it in the UK basket for a long time. And when that time came around, which so often does with Roger, when there's not a lot being released in 3D during a month or two, I would then go to, and I have Amazon France, I got Amazon Germany, I got Amazon UK, and I got stuff in those baskets from, you know, things that I want eventually when I get money and I have time. And this was one of them, and it came around the time where it was like, and actually Christmas was coming. This was a couple years ago. I was like, all right, it's time to buy this. I want to see a little something different for Christmas. So I picked up Saving Santa in 3D. Kind of a fun movie, not a great, you know, it's no DreamWorks, it's no Pixar, definitely not Pixar. But it's a fun movie. It's a time waster. Let's see who does the voices. You know, what's funny too is we get a lot of people doing great voice work in these movies, and they don't come out here. Here you got Martin Freeman, Tim Curry, Noel Clarke, Tim Conway, Joan Collins. Yeah, I mean, it's an adequate family film. It was fun to watch that Christmas, that December that I picked it up. It was like, oh, this is a fun movie. All right. You know, it's nothing special. It's not, you know, it's not sliced toast with marmalade, but it's fun, and it's in the collection now. I gave up on the series probably around mid-number 4. I watched the first 3 from beginning to end. About the middle, when I put in 4, about the midway through, I was like, you know, I'm done with these movies. They're trying to pull all these plot twists and turns, and you know, it was one movie released. This was before Paranormal Activity. This was one movie released every Halloween, every year for maybe 8 years, almost a decade. They released one of these movies around Halloween, and the first one I really like. I really liked the first one. Second one, okay, and like I said, they progressively went through. And I now have the complete collection in my set, in the S's. I do have them all. And I still have yet to watch all of them. So I'm right around that number 3 part. So I haven't watched all the Tortures. But then I heard this was in 3D. It was supposedly the final movie of the series. And when it came out in 3D, I was like, okay, let me watch it. Let me buy it and watch it. My God, it was disgustingly gross. And Saw 3D, the final chapter. I got it late, of course, not new, so I don't have a slip cover or anything. But yeah, apparently this is the final chapter. It does kind of ring around to the first one with a certain character. That's all I'll say. You horror fans know of these movies. The 3D, I don't know if this was native or this was converted. This might have been converted. But boy, the torture scenes from those first, because I haven't watched them. Those first 3 movies had some really interesting torture scenes. And when I saw these, I was like, whoa, the guy super glued to the seat of his car and has to get the brake on, and then the guy with the hooks in his mouth pulling the bottom of the jaw out, and the 3D made it work, man. Boy, it made me jump a few times. The 3D helped, man. The 3D helped with this movie. Again, I believe it's a conversion, but boy, some sick stuff in here, man. You know, there we go. Blu-ray, DVD, I believe. DVD, yeah. And a tchotchke. Code for iTunes. Nobody's asked, but you realize I'm not giving any codes out anymore. I don't know why. I think I'm going to sell them. I can use some money, and everybody was telling me, why don't you just give them away? Why don't you just sell them? Put them up on eBay or whatever. I might. I don't know, but I'm not giving them out. I don't know. Although there's one person out there that I won't mention her name, that I still haven't gone through yet. And those that I did look didn't have digital codes, the movies you were asking about. But I haven't gone through all of them, so I still got to go through them all just to make sure that, because I did promise those to you, and you will get those if they are available in those sets. Anyway, Saw 3D, final chapter. Just some disgusting thought of... Hit and miss in the 3D era. This is definitely a conversion. It was a sight unseen. I imported it. I said, it's a monster movie. I love monster movies. I grew up on monster movies. And the trailer looked pretty monstrous. And I was like, all right, let's see what the Koreans... although this is Shout Factory. Maybe this is released in the U.S. Kim Ji-hoon, yeah, I believe this is all Park Young-soo, Park Jung-hak, yeah, I believe that's all Korean. Sector 7 in 3D, monster movie. Cool design for a monster, I thought. I thought the monster was pretty damn cool in it. It's people, trapped, and there's a monster loose, and they're on an oil well, or oil rig, yeah, and horror ensues, but it's 3D. Some of it works, some of it doesn't, but it's for the collection. It's a horror movie in the collection. I think I mentioned a ways back that the here we go. I'm trying to see what the picture is in the back. Oh, it's just the oil rig. There weren't many horror films in 3D released, and so I was looking always for horror stuff. And the Koreans always surprised me with some really decent stuff, some acting, some great action scenes, some great storylines. And so I took a chance with Sector 7, and it's adequate. It's a cool monster movie. Like I said, I really like the design of the monster. I haven't seen it in a while. I think I saw this only twice. And I need to watch it again, probably this coming Halloween, the end of the year. This is a somewhat recent buy, basically because nothing was available, and I had money, and I was itching for something new in 3D, something new. Although I got movies I haven't watched in years in 3D that I should rewatch. No, Roger wanted something new. And it was a family film. And I knew nothing about it. I didn't even know if the 3D was good in it. So I took a chance. The Seventh Dwarf. Yeah, The Seventh Dwarf. Again, not a great film, an adequate family film, although kids might get bored, because I do remember the story being somewhat convoluted or confusing, probably for young adults or young children. But the characters are fun, and you got dwarfs, and they're all goofy and clumsy, and I don't remember much of the 3D. So it probably wasn't Sammy-striking. It wasn't rememberable. So it's probably just adequate 3D. Again, haven't seen it. Only saw it once when I got it in the mail, and it's up on the shelf. Another one for the collection. This one I know I imported. Watch, I'm going to be a liar again. Look at the top of my head while I look. Something tells me I imported this, but none of the specs on the back look anything. Well, no, way at the bottom there, it's in Asian caricatures. Not characters, caricatures. Anyway, Jeff Bridges, one of my favorite actors. The Seventh Son. This did get a release in the U.S. I don't think it was in 3D in the U.S., but it did get a 3D release and a release at the theaters in other parts of the world. And I might have ordered this from Yes Asia, maybe? Because at the very bottom, I mean, probably not, but most of it's in English, but down here it's all in Asian, all in the Asian characters. Caricatures. Legendary Pictures, Universal. There's the inside. This is what Jeff Bridges talking to your son. You got to do it this way, and you got to fight the man and get in there. And mumbling, you know, Jeff Bridges, very similar to True Grit, his character in there, Rooster. But fun. It was a conversion, and it's adequate. It's okay. It's nothing bad. It's not a great movie, but it's entertaining. It's a great Sunday afternoon watch in 3D, you know, while lying on the couch or whatever. So I got it, and it's in the collection. And, you know, Jeff Bridges is always fun to look at, always fun to watch. And it's one of those sword and sorcery, yeah, I guess, kind of, you know, medieval, you know, yeah. This is another one of those, excuse me, another one coming. It's in the elevator on the way up. No, he got off. It's kind of like that triple feature that I showed at the beginning of last week's video, where they took the IMAX films and they put them together. But instead of one single case with 3 discs, they gave it a big box set. And this has, I'm going to read sideways, Sharks 3D, Dolphins and Whales 3D, and Ocean Wonderland 3D. So there we go. Nice little box set. They all come in their individual discs. And it was very cheap. It was under 20 bucks. So there's this one, Ocean Wonderland. They're all basically simple cases. Not cheapo-eco. Dolphins and Whales. I don't know if these are IMAX. Yeah, these are all IMAX. And you know, Sharks, you've heard me talk about IMAX movies in the past, that if you have a 3D setup and you're always looking for something different, get an IMAX, because IMAX movies are fantastic. The presentations are always great in 3D. And after they come out after a while, you know, they do go down in price, and you can get like these compilation sets where you get, you know, these were probably all individually available at one time, and then they put them in a box and they sell it for like 15 bucks or whatever, and you can't go wrong. So yeah, they're good. And again, presentation is nice, especially the underwater shark stuff. You know, you're watching and all of a sudden a fish goes, you know. We're in the shark territory. Wow, another shark film. I heard bad things about this movie as a movie on its own. And then I heard some really bad, wow, the clouds came out. I heard some really bad comments about the 3D presentation being conversion and not that great. But I don't know, I think the price came down. It's an Asian import again. Probably I got it from Yes Asia. I don't know where I get these. Like I said, I get a lot of foreign films because I have all region players. I got 2 of them, and they're both 3D, and they're both all region. They play everything, A, B, C, 1 through 8, or whatever the codes are. So I don't mind getting the imports. And as I mentioned in the past, if you're looking for certain movies like Ratatouille or Frozen, you need an all region and player, because they are out there. Available. And this was I love horror movies. I've always loved horror movies. And I took a chance. I was like, yeah, why not? So I got Shark Night 3D. Yeah, it's not a great movie. It's weird. It's sharks with cameras on their heads. Sharks with frickin' laser beams on their heads. If I remember, there's a group of weird hillbilly people on a beach. Hillbilly on a beach. There's some weird, crazy guys, and they're doing some weird experiment, and they got some super sharks that they can watch cameras. They got cameras embedded, and boy, I haven't seen this in years, and I have no idea. And then it's the old young, young group of kids coming to go to Grandpa's house, and they go swimming, and they start getting eaten by sharks, and that's about all I remember, and that's probably not even right. But here's the old back with some English and Japanese or Asian characters. Same on the front. Nothing different in the disc art. There we go with that. 3D is not that great. Story, yeah. Again, it's probably... I watched it once when I got it. Got it good. And was like, yeah, ho-hum. Yeah. I don't... Because I don't remember. I don't remember if it's good. I don't remember if the 3D is good. It's just there, and then I watch it, and I put it up, and then Pacific Rim came out, and I was like, oh, let's watch that. And then I watched that like 10 times in a row. So, that's forgotten. There were two movies. One's a T movie, which we'll talk about in the other one, and I don't know if this is the first or the second in that series. I think this is the first. No, don't go by me. Don't go by me. Don't go by him. He don't know what he's doing. He stinks. Don't go by him at all. It's a Japanese movie called Shock Labyrinth in 3D. And I saw the trailer, and oh, that's cool. Lenticular, look at that. And I saw the trailer, and the trailer looked really kind of cool. There were all these weird little, you know how J-horror is? All these weird ghostly things in a hallway coming at you and stuff. And I was like, oh, you know, in 3D, that probably would look really kind of cool. And here we go. DVD, Blu-ray, 3D. Yeah. And a list of other Asian cinema. I have that one. And I only have one of them. The Man from Nowhere. Check out that movie. That's an awesome flick. And to be honest, I remember a lot of crosstalk in this. Again, it might be because there were a lot of dark scenes, and I'll have to be totally honest with you, with my eyes, if it's dark and then there's some brightness coming in, I always do seem to get like a ghost effect. Again, like I said, everybody's eyes are different, and I've had surgery on my eyes. I've had cataract. I got a lens in this one to make it better, and this one's kind of going foggy. But I watched this years and years ago. So sometimes some things look fantastic, and you know, oh, beautiful 3D presentation. Some, especially when it gets dark in movies, sometimes I get that crosstalk, and I don't know if it's my TV or if it's my eyes or what. But it depends. It depends. But yeah, this I believe is either the beginning or the sequel to another movie, which is in my T section. And when I get to the T's next week, I'll talk about that, and I'll bring this up again. But it's one of your J-horror movies. It's a J-ghost story, J-horror story in 3D. And it's all right. It's, from what I remember, it's okay. Yeah, you know the thing with these movies, which you watch Avatar, of course, James Cameron, Avatar, beautiful 3D presentation. When they're talking, the what do they call them? The Navis? When they talk and there's subtitles on the screen, the subtitles are in 3D. They actually protrude the screen. So it gives you a really kind of a nice, it doesn't really affect you. Sometimes you get these Asian movies where they're in 3D, and the 3D is just the simple, they're not protruded, it's just the simple text. And it kind of takes away the 3D presentation. You're enveloped in this world of 3D, this depth, and then the subtitles, and you look down, and it just swipes that 3D image away until you're done reading, and then you look back up to get immersed again. They won't do it. 3D, you know, the 3D's dead. But if more foreign films would do that with their 3D movies and have the 3D like Avatar, it's better. Anyway, here's the back. Some nice bloodiness. Yeah. Shock Labyrinth. I've talked too much about it. Let's move on. Got the steelbook of this, or whatever it's called, tin, whatever, and it was on sale at Best Buy when it came out, and I was like, yeah, I'll pick this one up instead of the regular because it looked kind of cool. I loved the first one, Robert Rodriguez film. I wish that first movie would be converted to 3D because I think it fits. And after seeing this movie, I know it would fit because I really love the 3D-ness, the presentation of this movie. Not only the style, the comic book panel style of Frank Miller, being black and white color, bits of color here and there, and the style of it, the 3D adds so much more to it. Talking about Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. Movie-wise, not as great as the original Sin City. I think the stories in the original Sin City are better stories. To be totally honest, probably just looking at the cover, the only story I recall, is the Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the gambling guy story. I really couldn't tell you. If someone says, what happens in the Marv story? I really don't remember. I don't. Like I said, it didn't have a lasting impression with me. But the presentation itself, the 3D with that style, that Sin City Frank Miller style, really pops. Really, really does. And I do like it. And this was probably a Best Buy exclusive because it came with an extra disc. I believe it was attached to it. Here's the inside with some cover art. We got the 2 discs. I need to watch this again just to refresh myself with the stories because I do like the characters of Marv and yeah, Frank Miller and Rodriguez directed this. Here's the back, which is kind of cool. And like I said, it came with the matted slipcover, nothing slipcover, the steelbook or metal pack or whatever these are called. But yeah, I got it. And like I said, the 3D presentation I really liked. I really liked them there. This seemed like a great idea. And it is. It has a lot of great moments. A lot of great moments. Movie itself is kind of... Never played the game at all. Saw the original movie. Thought it was pretty damn haunting and pretty damn horrifying by the end. And this is a sequel. I don't know if this is the 3rd or 2nd. I don't know. I don't follow. There's so many hundreds and thousands of movies that I follow that I can't remember certain things. But this is Silent Hill Revelation. Revelation in 3D. There's the cover. There's the back. Got another. See, these things like to pop out of those little thingies that clip in. Anyway, there's a 3-disc set. Yeah, this has moments. I'll say that. The mannequin spider lady creature is really kind of cool. The guy with the big old axe throwing the thing through the air. That's really cool. There's some decent pop outs here and there. But I like the original movie's storyline better than this one. I'm glad I have this one in my collection. And I'm glad I got the 3D presentation because, yeah, it's fun. It's creepy. It's eerie. The snowy, the fog, all that stuff really works well in 3D. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. It's in the collection. There we go. This was one of the, again, IMAX. Boy, I got tons of IMAX here. You can't go wrong with IMAX. If you're looking for 3D and there's nothing being released, and go to the IMAX section and goes, oh, this is on sale for $9.99. I'm going to pick it up. Space Junk 3D. Yeah, a little documentary, IMAX documentary on where we throw our junk. It's Quark. This is before Quark and the Garbage Man came around with his with the twin girls and the beep 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 beep. I'm pollinating guy. Boy, is that an old reference. Gosh, anybody remember that? Richard Benjamin? Wow. It's on DVD. Yeah, the whole series, what is it, 8 episodes? Quark. Look it up, you young people. Intergalactic Garbage Man. Wow. Wow. 70s television. Yeah, again, another one of these little documentaries. This was only 37 minutes, so it's under 40. And like I said in the last video, you can just put it in slow-mo and make it an hour if you want. There you go. IMAX. Space junk. Yeah, not much to say. You know, it's one of those IMAX documentaries. Speaking of which, IMAX Space Station 3D. Yeah, they do a lot of outer space IMAX films. And they're all really good. My favorite, I mentioned it back when I was talking about in the H's somewhere. Here we go. Hubble. Hubble is my favorite IMAX space documentary. Gosh, that thing blows me away. Not only is it just prophetic, being that we're so minuscule, we mean nothing. We are nothing on this planet. And we compared to what is out there, but to see the visuals in 3D, the imaging being represented in 3 dimensions of the photographs from the Hubble are amazing to behold. Anyway, Space Station, nothing to bash about. Again, every IMAX film is great for 3D. You might find them boring, but at least they're great presentations. This looked like a lot of fun. This looked like a lot of fun. And I picked it up, and I was glad. Maybe I picked this up right when it came out because I got the slipcover, and it seems like one of those movies you would probably never get a slipcover. Never heard of the director, never heard anybody in it. Patrick Muldoon, Christina Campbell, William Hope, Sydney Sweeney. I don't know anybody in this. But I had a fun. I had a fun time with it. It was one of those movies, just by looking at the cover, just by seeing the trailer, knowing it was going to be in 3D, I was like, all right, yeah, order the pizza, get the beer ready, get some popcorn before the pizza gets here, and throw it on. Spiders! It's spiders! Giant spider attacking the city! Of course, I'm going to get this. Of course. Not too great of a conversion. It has its moments. The depth adds some stuff to your viewing pleasure. It's just a big old B movie about a giant spider and spiders. And like I said, I got the slipcover. Nothing special. That is a cool poster, though. I think if that poster was available, that'd be kind of cool on somebody's wall. Ooh, this is unusual. Here's the disc. Here's the case. If you can see, if I can get some glare on it, you can kind of see it a little better. It's a not so cheapo eco, but it is a cheapo eco symbol with the arrow going around. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know. There, you can kind of see the indent. See the arrow? Why do I care even showing you this? But it is. It's the cheapo eco circle with the arrows, but it's not cut out like cheapo eco is. It's just less plastic, like not so cheapo eco. So it's a not so cheapo eco case. Not so cheapo eco case. What? Oh, Roger, you're nuts. I know. Just keep going. I'm trying, but I had to explain that. Well, don't explain it. People don't care. I know. Spider! Wow. I bought this. I heard some fun things. I watched maybe 10, 12 episodes of this cartoon show. Someone said you should watch it because it does speak to the adults. It's like the old Bullwinkle where it has... Bullwinkle. You young kids know who Bullwinkle is? Look him up. From the 60s. It's for children. It's animated. It's cartoon. It's crazy. But there's a level up above that speaks to the adults, and they know what the kids aren't getting. So I watched the first couple I watched like maybe 12, 15 episodes of the cartoon. And yeah, it was that, but boy, it got obnoxious to me. It just got to me. There was something about it. I was like, I can't watch this anymore. I need a break. I need a break. And then they did a movie. Is this the first? This is probably the first. Yeah. And it was in 3D, so of course, Roger, you know, it's a family film, and it's in 3D, so it's going to look fun. And it's that guy that does goofy stuff, and there's some live action in it. And it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's like Roger Rabbit. They come out of the cartoon, and they enter the live action, and that will probably look really good in 3D. SpongeBob SquarePants. What's it called? Sponge out of water. 3D. Yeah. Gosh, this guy's annoying. Not only is he bright yellow and very obnoxious, he's got that laugh, and oh my God. Movie was fun. It was a fun presentation. I only watched it once. You can guess. I'll watch it again someday. I will. The out of water sequence was pretty fun, but not long enough. We spent way too much time underwater in the cartoon land area, but the separation was cool. You know, the depth was cool. Boy, is he obnoxious. I thought the minions were obnoxious. SpongeBob. 1, 2, 3 disc. But it's part of my collection. Who's the big name actors in this movie? Antonio Banderas. And Antonio Banderas. Yeah, he plays the pirate guy. That's it. That's it. Antonio Banderas in SpongeBob SquarePants, the movie. Out of water. Sponge out of water. Yeah. Adults beware. Don't watch it if you have a headache. Oh, I'm so glad they brought these out. I'm so glad. And in a double pack. And it was super cheap. I mentioned in some of my past 3D episodes that before 3D televisions were around, the closest thing you can get to watching 3D on television was this system called the field sequential system. And it was this little device. You get it in the box with some glasses. You can probably still get them on eBay. I had almost all the discs. And then there were some, well, I guess they weren't available, but they were processed in the field sequential, like Andy Warhol's Frankenstein I had in 3D. I had Jaws 3D. I had the original Friday the 13th in 3D. And with this system, which was the same as the shutter system, which most TVs have, they either have the shutter, the passive, or the glasses, like I have, which bleep 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 bleep. You would plug this into your DVD player. This was before Blu-ray. It was a DVD player you would plug it into, and it was like this little box, and then you would plug the glasses, had a cable, and you'd plug it in. And you would put the movie, the DVD, they were DVDs. You'd put them in your DVD player and you'd play it. And the signal, the thing that was on the DVD was flashing, I guess. I don't remember. Gosh, we're talking mid-2000s, maybe even earlier. God, no, it wasn't the 90s. It was yeah, like 2004, 2005. And you would wear the glasses, and the glasses were connected, and you were able to see the 3D image perfectly. Not as good as they are today. Today's TVs, they've perfected that 3D presentation the way it should be, and sadly, they should just put it in all televisions. Who cares? It's a small little thing. Add it to every television, 3D. And then those people who have bought these collections can continue in the future to watch those movies. But anyway, these two movies I had in that system. And they looked so good. There were so many things coming out of the screen. Robert Rodriguez would do the 3D himself. He shot these movies with 3D in mind. He filmed them in such a way and added the depth. True, there was a lot of CGI stuff, but he really understood how to do the 3D thing. And eventually they came out with 2 of his movies in the 3D that we watch today. And that's Spy Kids 3D, Game Over, and Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I was going to say Versus. Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Story-wise, they're family films. They're family. They were written by his, or created. The stories came from his son. Oh, I can't think of his son's name. I'm sorry, you people. I don't care what his son's name is. Just talk about it. Talk about it. Weinstein, Holland, Judge, Mike Judge, Robert Rodriguez. Come on, they don't even say what his son's name is in there. I'm thinking it's not Max. He's got a unique name. Anyway, he came up with the ideas for like Shark Girl and Lava Girl, Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Anyway, if you see these and you have a 3D setup and you haven't picked them up yet, pick them up. The 3D presentations are fantastic. You want pop-outs, you want things jumping out of the screen right at you. Both these movies are great, and they're a lot of fun, and they're in very great spirit. And I'm so glad they finally, and you can get the set, and they're both on different discs. They're not on the same discs, which is great. But I'm so glad they finally released these in the original format for modern day 3D televisions, because they work great. There's no crosstalk. Everything is beautiful and crisp and perfect. And those are fun movies. And then years later, he did a sequel. Was this done by Rodriguez too? Yeah, he did this, another one. He did the next Spy Kids movie called All the Time in the World. There you go. Another fun movie, not as good as any of the first 3. I really like the first 3 Spy Kids movies. I only saw this once. Joel McHale's in this, though, with Jessica Alba, Alexa Vega, of course, and Daryl Sabara, Jeremy Piven. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I don't remember much of the story or anything, but it is in 3D, and it's hefty as hell. It's huge. This isn't Disney, is it? No. Dimension, Weinstein. Boy, it's heavy. 1, 2, 3, 4 discs with the slip. No 3D, just basic slip. Yeah, I can't remember much of this. I did pick it up when it came out because it was in 3D, and you know, I'm just gonna guess and say it's probably as good as the other Game Over 3D. Although like I said, I haven't seen it probably since I bought it. I only saw it once, so I can't really tell you if the 3D is really good in this or if the story's good in this. But it's in my collection, and that's all that matters, because I'm showing off my collection. Always in the mood for a good war movie, and this was an interesting story. I didn't think I was going to like this. I bought it because I saw the trailer and it looked pretty spectacular. And I was like, wow, that'd be cool, a World War II movie in 3D with cannons and things blowing up. And it is. It's very good. The presentation's very good in 3D. I believe this is a Russian or a German film? There's a lot of skis at the end of the names, and Kumovs and stuff like that. So I'm guessing this might be, I know there's subtitles on here. The epic battle that turned the tide of World War II. Anyway, we're talking about Stalingrad. Simple slipcover, no 3D. Pretty decent war film. Not a whole lot of war in it, but the war that is in there is pretty good. The fight scenes, the action that's in there is good. It's more of a group of these soldiers that meet up with this woman, and they're hiding out in this little town that's being bombasted and blown up by the Nazis, and I believe they're Russian soldiers. Don't count me on that. Correct me if I'm wrong down below, but there's the back. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie. It started out kind of like, but the more you watched it and the more you got into the characters, because you do get to know all the characters in here, I really grown to appreciate it and really liked it. And from what I remember, the 3D presentation was pretty damn really good. So if you see it, under $20, pick it up for your collection if you have 3D. Okay, we're getting into these. Well, this one. Another situation where I kind of wish they would go back and take the first movie and convert it to 3D. People had a lot of issues with this movie, this sequel. Star Trek Into Darkness. Gone! Yeah, kind of a cool lenticular. Where else are you going to see Star Trek in 3D? Going through warp drive, the ships, the space battles, all the actions. Even the glare, the flare, what do they call that? The lens flare that what's his name uses all the time. J.J. Abrams. Brain farts. All the lens flares he likes using. It's cool in 3D because they're on the bridge and you get a lens flare. And the lens flare is, they're on the bridge in 3D with depth. And the flare is like in front of your face. It's like, whoa, yeah. At least I thought so. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the 3D presentation of this. True, the movie isn't, what it could be, but it's a Star Trek. It's a 2014-15 Star Trek film that's in 3D. Has tons of extras, tons of special effects, and I enjoyed it. I'm a purist to the original series. I love the original series. So anything after any of this stuff it's like, okay, yeah, it's great. I still got my originals, and I still got Wrath of Khan and all the other movies with the original cast, which I love. So be it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It is what it is. 1, 2, 3 disc. And like I said, I enjoyed the 3D presentation. I believe it's a conversion. But I did enjoy it, and I kind of wish they would go back and do the first movie with Chris Pine and them and convert it to 3D. But, as we go on, it's getting worse and worse. This is kind of a home invasion film, horror film again. There's nobody in here Sarah Paxton, anybody know her? Todd Levine directed it. It was shot in 3D. It's a very dark movie, very, very dark. Talking about Static, which is a pretty decent film. It's not fantastic. Like I said, home invasion, people with masks coming in, wanting to kill the family. Not much to say about this movie. It's in the collection. It's a horror film. I took a chance on it, and I bought it, and it is what it is. It is. I need some more. Because unlike most alcohol people, they lose their sense of speech the more they drink. The more I drink, I get better at talking. Okay. The last 3 movies of the S's. Okay. All of them imports, aren't they? Maybe the first one isn't. Yeah, something says the second one wasn't, but maybe it is. I definitely know the third one was an import. I had to get it from the UK. Did not see, no sir, I did not see part 1, part 2. So I went into part 3 blind. I can't see it, I want to see 3D, I can't see it. How are we doing on time? Hour 8. Wow, these are coming out hour 15 every episode. Season 2, defending my collection, the 3D movies. 2 more episodes left, 3 more. This first one, part 3, blew me away. Blew me away in 3D. I didn't know what I was expecting when I got it. I knew it was a dance film. I knew they were a group of dance movies. But just like the Sammy films, which I watch a lot, have watched a lot, this first movie that was released in 3D, which happened to be the third part of the series, I must have watched, I can't even give you a number, but when I got it in my hands and watched it the first time, I watched it maybe once, maybe twice a month for a few months, for a good, and I still go back to it. Even though I have 4 and 5 of the series, I always go back to this first one. And I'm talking about Step Up 3D. Like I said, I knew nothing about this. I mentioned in one of my earlier videos that in college, I did take, when I was skinny, that was a long time ago, I did a modern dance. I took up a dance class, and I really got into dancing and theater and acting and all that. That video I did where I'm dancing in my kitchen waiting for my pizza to finish, you see how slow I move. Because I can't dance like I used to, like this. Man, I did tap. I did all that crazy stuff. I was jumping all around. I had energy back in the 80s. But this movie, man, the 3D was amazing in this. The dance sequences are fantastic. They come right out at you at the camera. And they're doing, and the lenses they use, the wide-angle fisheye lenses or things like that, are beautiful. I am just blown away, entertained by the dancing in this movie, as with the others. And I'll go through. Here's Step Up Revolution, which is part 4. And then this one I had to import Step Up 5 all in 3D, which is weird because the slip cover has one case, and then you go to that case and it's, no, it is the same. Somebody said it was different. Why don't I think it was different? It looks different. Something looks different about it. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. These are good. These have some good dance numbers in it. They really do. But this one just, the competitions, and it's big competitions, and when the numbers come out, and they're right in your face, and the dancing is fantastic, and there's in the second one, is it that one? Or is it in the 5th one? There's one where, I think it's this one, where it takes place in a bar, and they're competing in a bar, which is really, really good. Again, I always go back to 3. I'll always throw 3 in. And then the final credits has this guy just sitting in a chair doing the old weird thing, which you can find on YouTube. I don't even know what it's called. Hand dance thing. And when you watch that in 3D, again, it's blows me away. Blows me away. The second one pretty much kind of relies on the what do they call that, where dance just breaks out in the middle of the street. There's a name for that I can't think of, where it's all set up, it's all pre-set up, and you could be going about your business or sitting in traffic, and all of a sudden all these people just start coming around and they dance around you, and they're all perfectly in sync, and they all have their moves down perfectly, and then they all disperse and they go away. Don't remember too much about this one, because I probably seen this one last or least, but again, I can't praise the third one. So if you have the means of a 3D television, you're like, I don't want to watch no 3D movie, no dancers in 3D or whatever. If anything, get this one, Step Up 3D, Step Up 3D, whatever. I think you'll really enjoy it. You'll definitely enjoy the 3D presentation. Again, the dance numbers are all original, they're all different, they're all entertaining. Gosh, and then they get the little kids in there at the end doing the dances. And really, really a lot of fun. A lot of fun. All 3. I'll give all 3 thumbs ups. This one way thumb up, but and not the middle finger, just way thumb up. That's it. We're done with the S's of the 3D collection, folks. Wow, we got to the end of another one. It's like hour 14, which is decent for these. Yeah. We, like I said, we only have the T's, and then the final. Well, the last of the alphabet will be the U's through Z, because I don't have many. They're probably like a stack line, like that. But U, V, W, X, Y, Z's. And then I have a special video as an addendum, the last video, which I'm going to do a little something different and special. And I think the 3D people who enjoy 3D and have 3D will enjoy it, and will possibly spark up a conversation, which would be kind of cool. I have seen that type of conversation on the Bluray.com 3D forums before, and I've joined in with that, but it'd be kind of cool to see more people talk about it down below, those fans of 3D. So, yeah, and again, as I kind of mentioned in the last video, I try to stress it in all videos. Excuse me. Even though these movies are, I'm talking about my collection, my 3D collection, nowhere does that take away the 2D presentation of these movies. If you heard me talk about a movie, about how good or bad it was or whatever, check it out. Even if you don't have a 3D television set, just watch the regular Blu-ray or rent it on Netflix or Hulu or wherever you get your media from. And check out the movies like Stalingrad. If you're looking for a pretty decent war movie, just check it out. It doesn't matter if it's not in 3D. 3D's a bonus, but if it's not, it's just a good movie anyway. Same with the Step Up movies. Even though they're not in 3D, 3D adds so much, but putting that aside, they're just fun movies if you like good dancing and good music. Check them out, all of them. Silent Hill movie, Sector 7, San Andreas, I'm sure everybody's seen those. Saw 3D, I'm sure everybody saw the final Saw movie. But yeah, that'll do it for the for the S's. God, we did the T's already. No, T's are coming up. Wait a minute. Yeah, T's are coming up. Anyway, folks, I've talked too much. I've talked over an hour. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for popping in and watching this. If you've never seen any of my videos, please check out my other ones. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like, share, stand on your head, throw the computer out the window, whatever you want to do. And yeah, this is old Roger D for Channel Donstar, the Defending My Collection series, Series 2, the 3D movies. We just did the S's, we got the T's, and then we have one final going through the collection, and then one final addendum. Addendum, is that the word? Addendum. Epilogue. Epilogue. Oh gosh, I gotta go watch some TV now. Moonlighting. I've been watching Moonlighting. God, what a great show. God, I never watched it back when it aired, because I was out drinking and partying and going to dance clubs and dating and all that fun stuff and getting married and getting divorced. So I never really watched the Moonlighting show. Sybil Shepherd, Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis, man, you could tell from this show he was going to be a star. It's like watching Hudson Hawk. The writing is so quick. The producing, the creativity of the show is so ahead of its time. They break the fourth wall. You know how in Deadpool, you Deadpool fans, how he would turn to the camera and talk, or David, why don't we do this? Because the writers didn't write it in the script. That's why. Things like that. They're so self-aware that they're on a television show. I watched the final of season 2. They did a Mel Brooks Blazing Saddles. They were chasing someone, and they broke the wall and they went into the studio, and they're running around the studio a lot trying to chase this guy. Just Judd Nelson and Whoopi Goldberg. There's lots of guest stars. Great. If you haven't seen Moonlighting, check it out. If you're a fan of Sybil Shepherd, oh, she was beautiful back then. She probably is now. I haven't seen her much. But if you're a fan of Bruce Willis, if you're a big Bruce Willis fan and you've never watched Moonlighting, my God, get out of the shell, man. He's fantastic in this. And then after this series, then watch his Bruno concerts when he was the singer. when he did that for a while. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about this. I think that's because there's a little thing at the beginning that I stumbled across and says that's a beautiful way to open one of my Defending movies by having them talk about 3D. Yeah. So anyway, I'm done. I'm selling you on a television show from the 80s. Everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check out my other videos, which are posted during the week. Thursday Throwback Thursdays, Thursday Throwback Theater, where I talk about an old movie I have never seen or an old movie I haven't seen in a while, and I pretty much watch it and give you my little take on it. My IMO reviews, where I watch a newer movie that I have not seen yet and give you my take on that. My Sunday Shout Out series, where I shout out one of my subscribers as a thank you for subscribing me and a possible boost to their subscribers, to their subscribers, for my viewers to go to them and watch them and subscribe to them to help them on their channels, and whatever other little videos pop up during the week. Yeah, this is Defending My Collection, the 3D movies. We'll see you next week when we go through the T's. And that's it. It's all Roger Deed for Channel Donstar. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a subscriber. And thank you for being a friend. Bye, everybody. Don't forget, church or Sunday school on the weekends. All right, bye-bye.